The Knights of the Pork Pie Chronic.
And hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Knights of the Pork Pie Powwow.
You missed Chronic.
Chronic Powwow.
Where did you get that name from?
Chronic?
No, the whole thing. Knights of the Pork Pie. Did
No.
you just like look in a dictionary and just
No.
point at certain words?
No, I didn't. No. I think.
Oh, Life of Brian or something like that.
No. What I did was I actually thought when I decided on the name, because I thought like we're quite sort of like we've got quite chivalry. Is it chivalry? Chivalrous.
Chivalry?
Yeah.
What you mean, like?
Like a knight, you know?
Yeah.
We're all good blokes, don't we? And we sort of like look like we probably eat quite like fairly like lots of meat.
I'm trying to give up meat actually.
Well, maybe, but I thought like a pork pie is quite humbling. It's like a bit of a humbling sort of food, isn't it?
It's certainly like a working class.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But that's oh sorry, my mini. That's my dog, by the way. You probably can't see her down there. But basically, right, a pork pie is basically like for me. It's like you said, like it's a working class sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I thought about. And obviously, chronic means bad, doesn't it?
No, chronic means like constant, I think.
Let me Google it. Yeah, I'm sure.
It means ongoing.
No, because I remember reading somewhere and I said it was bad. Chronic, right? I'm sure it means bad. There you go. It's an illness for a long time of a constantly recurring or of poor quality. There you go. That's why I picked that word, right? And obviously, powwow is a you know.
Chat.
Well, yeah, a group of people get together.
Yeah.
And have a little bit of a.
Yeah, that's it.
Powwow.
It makes perfect sense. Actually.
You know, except for we haven't got a peace pipe.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's good.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, good name. But the picture that I saw when you had Mike here, and it's got an introduction, you know, and you put my picture in there.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're part of it.
Yeah, but it was like the worst picture you could imagine.
Oh yeah. I know. But
with that holding a pipe with the glasses and the flag.
I thought you looked quite handsome, mate. In a weird
It's
kind.
funny. It suits it. But the Andy Luton picture is very artistic, isn't it?
I took that.
Did you?
He hates that photo.
He looks very serious in it.
I love it because he's got this all the contours in his face. It tells a story.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be on. He's going to do the next one apparently, Mr. Luton.
Yeah. So where is he tonight?
He is working. I'm not really sure actually. Apparently he's doing a rehearsal. On you, Andy.
Not like Gypsy Jazz rehearsal.
Like he's doing he's doing a rehearsal. He's going to be here on. He's going to do the next one, because I won't mind doing a freeway. You know, like you know, three people having a conversation. No, I'm not talking about sexual innuendos.
No, you didn't mean that.
No.
Yeah, bring the hot seat into it. That's a good shower over there, isn't it?
Well, the first episode we did, where I didn't have this mic set up. We did it with I think we did it just with the microphone.
Yeah.
And we had that mic, but it was miles away, and the audio quality is nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
This is the thing like podcasting. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing.
You're learning as you go along.
It's great.
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it?
And it's really cool because you get some really good quality time with your mates.
Yeah. Talking
whatever you want to do. I think it's quite interesting because when you have a conversation, how often do we sit down and just talk? Do you know what I mean? You know, like generally.
All the time.
Yeah, I'm talking good quality conversation. It doesn't happen, do it? You know, like if you're like in a pub, there's lots of distractions.
I think it's all bollocks, really. Everything.
In what way?
Just chatting bollocks, innit? It's like there's a hole in your face, and shit comes out of it. You know, and then you put things in, and.
Yeah, but I think that's the art, isn't it? That's an art form.
Who designed us? You know.
I think it was the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
It's got according to.
Well, I do like the story of the Anunnaki because you've got Enki key and Enlil or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like God and the devil, or is how we translate it now.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I do like about it is in the Bible it says about we are made in the form of God, right? But so therefore people think, oh, God therefore is a man, like some big bearded thing living in the heavens.
Yeah.
But then gods, of course, were mortal beings, in the kind of before Sumerian times and Mesopotamia and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and when it says about Eve coming out of Adam's rib, again, it's a translation. These are very primitive languages that have been translated through different languages all through these centuries. So our understanding isn't a direct translation of what actually happened, even if it did. So the way that someone has looked into it or translated it another way is the Anunnaki. What is it? They genetically modified using their own DNA with the DNA of the most advanced species on Earth at the time, which is like the caveman type of thing.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like what we were talking Neanderthal.
Yeah, like the Neanderthal, right?
Yeah.
So they've created this other being, and it was all to mine gold or like precious metals and minerals and that kind of thing.
Cause I'm sure like the Neanderthal, because I read somewhere that like the Neanderthal, they recently said something like they were more intelligent than people actually when they were first sort of like, like when they first discovered Neanderthal, they just thought they were like knuckle draggers and just stupid, but actually they were.
A few of those around here, mate.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of knuckle draggers. I know quite.
The 21st century.
Yeah. But like, they assumed that they were just stupid beings, but they've been. I think they sort of like semi-proved that they were way more advanced than people realise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you've got to look at where a lot of our present learning comes from. Back in like an age of enlightenment during, say, the Industrial Revolution or something, or before that, when people went, travelling around the world in ships, and they'd go to these places with different cultures, and they were certainly primitive cultures, but they were called savages, because they lived differently, because they didn't live in a civilized way that we in Europe did.
Yeah.
But now you look at it, and now you see these kind of memes, don't you, where you've got like someone on a boat and it's all plastic, and you've got like native people somewhere in like a little canoe, on the Amazon, and they say like, "Who's the savage?"
Yeah. But I thought was I talk about culture and like and stuff like that. I was listening to a conversation. I can't remember who it was now. It was on a random podcast, and they reckon chimpanzees have now been upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like something like the Iron Age or something.
What?
Yeah, because they're making, or was it like something like that, where they basically be making tools.
They'll be working at the drive-thru next.
There's a few of them.
Johnny No Stars.
Yeah. How would you like your burger, Stu? I like my flips, please.
Well,
no. So
as chimpanzee as possible.
To be fair,
Is she molt?
What, the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really.
Not really.
She's an unusual breed, actually. She's a Kerry Blue, crossed with a lurcher.
Yeah, I can see the lurcher. Yeah.
Let's call her up.
She likes that boom
Do you
thing.
want to come up, Amy? Come on, then. No, there we go. Look, come on, join us. You want to come up? No, I don't think she's going to come up. But yeah, she's got like quite a big body on the bottom. Look, so that's the lurcher in her. Look.
Yeah.
Just here, look, that's a lurcher. Look, but she's a great dog. I absolutely. And she loves it when you blow on her face.
Is she one of those dogs that sticks her head out the window when you drive?
No, she's not really. It's hilarious, isn't she?
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah. No. Right, go on. No, it's a good girl. So what I was going to say is this, go back to what you're saying. Like, I mean, a lot of like my things that I've as I learn from an individual, I don't really learn from BBC and all these the news and stuff.
Attenborough and all that.
I like that. Yeah, that's different. But I don't. But I'm talking about.
He's a prick.
But I don't
No, right,
maybe he's an elitist. I think he's a bit of an elitist.
I think
because you look at his brother. His brother did very well, didn't he? He did Jurassic Park.
Right. My problem is, and I saw this when you were talking to Mike. You said about EastEnders being. Did you actually call it propaganda?
I think it is.
I think it is as well.
I think it's reversal. I think it's reverse psychology.
I think what it is, people come. The thing is with EastEnders, right? People come home from work. They've probably had a shit day. They've been stuck in traffic. They've got problems at home. They might have money problems. They've got like their car's making a funny noise. All this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You think life's shit. You know. They open the fridge, get some wine out or booze and everything, and then they put EastEnders on, and those bunch of fucking misfits on there, you know, they finish watching it, and they're like, well, actually, my life isn't too bad now. I'll go to work. It's the propaganda.
Totally, mate.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I even got this theory about Brexit. Right, now listen to this. Right, I worked it out. You got Boris Johnson. Right,
yeah, he's a knobhead.
Right, you got Nigel Farage. Right.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
Right, total people. These two people were total instigators of wanting to do the Brexit thing, right? And this is where my conspiracy enters the plot.
Okay.
Right. So you got those two, right? You've got Cameron, the little public school boy who dribbles a lot and just goes and fucks pigs.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got those two, right? Those three, right? And then he made everybody go, oh, you know, this is what Brexit is about, you know. And they were, of course, those two were going, do you know what? What we want to do is Brexit. We want you to all be part of this amazing movement. And then basically got Cameron going, no, I think we should stay in the EU. You know, of course, they got this momentum going.
We think it's like a pantomime or something.
No, finish, right? Yeah. And then what happens is that those two then go, when they got the vote, what do? They go, oh, we don't want any more of this malarkey. We'll give the responsibilities to everyone else, and all that does is all the people that were voted are were in between. I don't know what right now. I don't know where I should vote, but do you know what? Maybe I should vote for Brexit, leaving the EU. And what all it does, it just makes reverses the opinion of the person. So if they ever did a re-vote, because it's been like reverse psychology. Do you know what I'm saying?
Not really.
Right. So you got two people, right, saying this is what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
They create this big thing where people follow.
Yeah.
Right. You got one person who's like saying we need to stay in it. Right, the two people that all the people are following are expecting Boris Johnson to become like the next Prime Minister, which he could have probably done. Just saying, right? He then steps down, right? He steps down away from it, and so does Nigel Farage. Goes, I don't want nothing to do with this. And the only person that's like really they could have won the vote now would be Cameron.
Right. The thing is,
do you see what I'm saying?
Kind of, but Andrea Leadsom, is it? She was the one. She was more of the front runner that was going up against Theresa May to lead the country. Now, Andrea Leadsom was Brexit, right? Now, the thing is, there was nobody really. Michael Gove was in government to actually steer it in a Brexit way. So I think it's been scuppered from the get-go, right? And Boris Johnson, I don't trust him. Nigel Farage isn't even an MP anyway, he's an MEP, right? So, who's going to lead it? Who's going to believe in it? That's why I actually quite like Jacob Rees-Mogg. Because I like what he says. Not everything, you know, because he's well into his... He kind of puts a lot of things... If something doesn't go... If something doesn't sound very politically correct, he'll go, oh, but that's my... Catholic belief. That's why I believe the opposite, you know. Which I think is a bit of a cop out.
Yes.
With a lot of things, you know. But on his Brexit stance, I agree with it because I am Brexit. You know, I would vote for that, and I'd vote for it again and again. In fact, I would vote out of the EU, even if I'd never even heard of the word Brexit. They did not at all influence me because already I'd made my mind up about the EU just from looking into it, and I was kind of.
What was your main reasons for wanting to leave the EU?
I think philosophically, I am against big government. I don't like big government control. Okay, and what I see with the EU is they just want to take more and more control away from us. And I think, well, the UK is geographically and politically, it's actually quite sound. It can manage itself, you know. And I don't trust the way it's going. I think, all right, you know, I buy into the fact that I think with the EU, I think they answer to the likes of the World Bank, the IMF, the actual top controllers. You know, if you look at the economies of Greece and Germany, they're totally different. Yeah, so Greece are on the ropes. They're on their ass. You know, so they're looking for bailouts. All this money, and who gets involved? The IMF. They're saying about this loan here and this loan there, and you know they can't afford it. So what happens next? Do these banks start taking all the assets of a country, everything that tax is paid for? Do they start taking the bridges, the roads, the buildings, and saying, we've claimed that now because you're effectively bankrupt?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think the EU will facilitate that.
Interesting, yeah.
And the other thing with it is, I'm just kind of a bit suspicious of the whole thing. I actually like Europe and all the cultures within Europe.
Yeah.
And I think what they're trying to do is just swirl it all around and create all this confusion that you look to this. Because when anything happens
do you think that swirl of confusion, like you just said, do you think that's a way of just sort of like you know, like they say in it, like creating loads of like divisions in society, you can sort of like rule easier.
Yes, totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Is that? I mean, that's what I mean.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do with anything, because when anytime there's like a terrorist attack, you look to the government for that stability.
Yeah.
So the government are like, great. So it's like all they have to do is put fear into the people, and the people will look to them, to the government, and say, protect us.
Yes.
But what if the government are doing that on purpose, so that we give up more freedoms?
Yeah. I think it's see, for me, I didn't like the way, when you look at the history of the EU, the way it kind of like manipulated itself. You know, like it started off as, you know, like after the World War II, we create this little system, you know, where we have a cooperative between all the countries.
Yeah.
You know, if there's anything going on, you know, we can all bail together.
And the Bilderberg Group is a steering committee for the EU.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, and it went from that to like went more economics and creating strategies, you know, and then it's gone from that to now being sort of like people like, I don't know, Neil Kinnock, for example, you know, passing laws and rules, and you know, people that you don't even know. I don't know who these people are.
We've got to, we've always got to have a good relationship with Europe, and this is the other thing about the EU. They're bitter, right? Some people who remain, they use the argument that we'd be better off in Europe because they could actually do damage to us, like in a way that they wouldn't have to trade with us and all this kind of thing. I think, but that's being bitter. Yeah. And really, would you really want to stay in a union with people who are like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you know what's really funny? I listen to a lot of stuff, you know. Well, you're off soon, aren't you?
Another 7 minutes.
Oh, we've got another 7 minutes of conversation. This is great. So, yeah, I think with the you know, with the EU and stuff, I do think, like, if you look at it, it's like it's totally failing. There's no way they can sort of like manage to. Is it like, in fact, like a lot of systems, even like what we've got in you know, in the UK and America, I'm talking about finances now. That's totally unsustainable. Just like the EU is. You could, like, you know, like way money is like handled and stuff, where you got divisions getting bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, what you mean between rich and poor?
Yeah, rich and poor,
Well, Yeah, the thing is, it's across
and
the board.
EU are part to do that, where they control the stock markets with the banks.
Well, actually,
Do you know what I mean?
that's probably more London and Wall Street and all that kind of thing. And the other thing is, with people who are supporters of Brexit, we don't all think that it's already perfect in this country.
No,
You know, we don't. There are things that we want to change within our own parliament, you know, and through our MPs. But with being in the EU, it dilutes democracy, because all of the manifesto actually comes down from what the top 28, the Commission, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the Parliament can only vote on it. Okay.
Okay.
So from what I gather, no member of Parliament in the EU can actually come up with a bill, and it gets signed by everyone or voted on by everyone. It actually comes from the Commission.
Yeah.
Right. And the Commission aren't voted. They're not voted in representatives.
Yes.
They're appointed, right? So, if you needed to change something, if you wanted to talk to your MP here, your MP could turn around quite quickly and say, "Well, I can't do that because it's because of the EU." So they can.
Yeah.
They become like so.
Well,
That's
how you lose your democracy. You lose your rights and your privileges to be able to make changes in local communities.
So the buck doesn't stop with them anymore. Well, it never really did, because they've got to take it. But there are enough layers already in this country. We don't need any more layers to get through to actually get things changed. So who's it going to actually benefit? Who does it ever benefit? The other thing with that is, the EU is meant to be some sort of merciful social government that's going to help the working classes and the poor and the refugees and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But most of the people that voted out are the working class people here anyway. All right, some of them might actually be nationalists and a bit thick and a bit uneducated, you know. But there are a lot of 17 million people. That's a huge chunk of the population.
Yeah,
not all of them.
That's a huge chunk of opinions as well.
Exactly. Not all of them are knuckle draggers, you know. Not all of them have been the way they've been portrayed in the media, you know. So it's the discussion really is still quite hot. And when you get discussions that are actually about the benefits of either, you know, the EU staying in the EU or being out of it, the EU probably do some great things, you know.
Yeah.
But we can adopt that. And you still have a voice in this country to say, well, I like that. Why do we have to get rid of that?
Well, I think it's this weird thing, like people think that like the UK is we're segregating ourselves from, you know, do you know what I mean? Let's build the walls around the UK.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Of course, it's not true. We want to still. We are still geographically and politically, we're still part of Europe. See,
the thing is, the thing I never really understood, and this is something I know, was the wars that were going on, like say social media, Facebook. When and people are getting really, really offended. Like if you voted, you left want to leave the EU, you were like kind of branded a racist. And this is what
subject.
And this is where it goes back to what I was saying with the way it was. This is my own opinion. When they had like Nigel Farage was putting out these terrible posters. Whatever it was.
That was a shit poster.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
The lines of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's terrible.
Shit,
I think everybody should be welcome to come into the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Again, look, it would be philosophically, you know, yes, but realistically, no. It's just it can't happen, because you don't.
Come on, Star Trek Utopia.
well, that's what we're going for, isn't it? I mean, we'd like to have a utopia, but
or we turn into the Borg.
We're not ready for it. And the other thing is, like, because I'm more libertarian in the way I'm thinking, but libertarianism practically wouldn't work because people don't think like libertarians. You know, because there are too many people that are all imbalanced. They want to take more from somebody else. Now, so you've got this kind of, you know, the ultra-capitalist types. You know, the super cap. So you've got the crony capitalism. You've got, you know, criminal minds working in the corporate world. You know, and it's snidey and it's nasty and it's exploitative. You know, so it wouldn't work. So you wouldn't get that utopia. Not yet. Maybe when we're evolved, it could take 100,000 years.
See, I think this is quite, you know, an interesting way of sort of thinking about things, because I think when you're like connected to the internet and broadband and stuff, like it is kind of like creating those. It's trying to, like in a weird kind of way, you kind of like you're crossing the cultures and stuff, but at the same time, because you got like these, you got the dark side of the web and things. You do get these pockets of like rebellion. Do you know what I mean? Like against the system and all this sort of stuff. See, I think the internet's really, really healthy. But I also do think we're plugging into the Borg. One day we sat down, mate.
Yeah.
Sat down, mate, with our VR headsets on. Like we wouldn't be having a podcast like that. We'd be doing it in VR world.
Yeah.
Do you know,
Yeah.
dribbling.
And when I talk to the guy who goes around picking rubbish up all around the coastline, right? He said that.
Who's this?
The guy's named Wayne Dixon. He's going around all the coastline of the
Legend.
UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I talked to him, he said he was like suffering from depression and anxiety and all that. And I said, has it helped being out there doing it? He says, yeah. He says, just being in nature helps.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it's like, there's something about it, man. There's something about just being out there
There's
and
something about
unplugging yourself.
cleansing, mate. Cleansing.
It is.
I felt that when, I don't know if I said this on one of one of the previous episodes, but when I went to Algonquin Park, which is in Canada, I was canoeing to a beaver den, mate. I was paddling there. I was swimming into this beaver den. I was like canoeing to this beaver den. And because we've been in Toronto and some other crazy.
Were you welcomed by the beavers?
No, they weren't. I don't know if the beaver left.
Oh, right.
It was just it was just a hollow beaver. But no, I went there. I was canoeing with Bex, and it felt like, because it was like you got like going wild in England, which is great, but it's not like there.
No,
where you just see for miles of trees, and you could die.
Yeah, you're on your own. Yeah.
You're literally on your own. Yeah, and we were canoeing, and we had this guy, and all of a sudden it was like, I don't know, it was just like a real release of just like of all your technology and stuff and Facebook and.
You started thinking different and.
Like, and I was sat down like we had like we went to this log cabin in the middle of this forest.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the stars and there was no light pollution, just pure
stars,
clear, where you could see like parallaxes in the stars, just like beyond the stars and beyond. Epic, mate.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's like.
Didn't you fancy staying out there?
Yeah, but apparently it's not that great in mosquito season. So, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's getting bitten the shit out of like, you know what I mean? Especially if,
Hey,
but
don't I know? I was in hospital in New York. Something bit me in the night, and it just got worse and worse. And I was sat because I hurt my back playing tennis.
Yeah.
Right. So I sat in one of these sauna things where your head pops out. So it's just this.
like a box.
Yeah, like a white pod. And I was sat there, and after this was after the bite, and I think it was perfect incubator conditions. So throughout the day, the back of my knee just started to like grow red and get infected and all that kind of thing.
Did like the pus come out of it? And
Well,
stuff?
yeah, there was pus leaking out of it and all
That's
sorts.
fantastic.
Yeah, so I had to have this huge needle in there.
Oh, right,
for the local anaesthetic, and the doctor was slicing it like.
I got to have an operation on the 17th.
What's that about?
I've got to have my nose drilled out.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've had it. You're gonna enjoy it. It's like breathing after. It's just.
Oh mate, I'm definitely going to do. I'll do a podcast when maybe 2 days after I've had it done.
Oh, you'll still have the face mask on.
But that look good. But yeah, but wouldn't it be good for people that are like.
You look like the Dark Man.
Yeah, well, I got like really. People wouldn't probably. Well, a lot of people wouldn't know me that well, but some people do. But I got like. Oh, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, yeah, I've got to go, man.
But I just want to say, we'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, we'll.
But that's episode 4 finished, isn't it? Of Nights of the Port Pie.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Well, it probably got a bit too political than normal, but like.
Yeah, I know.
It's a change from talking about crappy 80s TV for kids.
Well, I like Jason and the World Warriors. That was fun. That was banging. You know what I mean?
I don't know that one.
No, it was
Jason who?
Jason and the World Warriors. You have to YouTube it.
Yeah.
The enemy, the evil guy, he looked like broccoli. And he lived in a big tree thing. It's really trippy, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll leave it. Leave it that then, yeah.
See you around. It's alright, people.
All right.